Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Today's video topic came to me in meditation and is all about meditation. Yay! Yeah, so this video is something that people ask me a lot, like, how do I meditate? How do you quiet your mind? Like, what really is meditation? Like, a lot of my friends are like, I don't really truly understand what you mean when you say meditate, or I don't know how to quiet my mind, or just different things like that. So, and a lot of times I kind of struggle with, like, I feel like when I answer, I'm super vague because I don't really know how to, like, explain it. But this came to me when I was in meditation, and it's kind of like a process, I guess, I go through. And so I thought maybe sharing it might be helpful to somebody out there. So the first thing I do when I begin it, right before I'm about to begin my meditation, or when I'm beginning my meditation, is, I'm sitting down, I'm in a quiet place. Definitely, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. When you first get started with meditation, it's really, really important that you're in a place with no distractions, where it's quiet, where you feel safe. All of these things are very imperative to be able to figure out how to quiet your mind. I say this when you're first getting started because eventually, as you get more comfortable meditating and your body's more used to being in a meditative state, you could simply meditate anywhere. I've meditated in crowded restaurants, and the world around me, it doesn't bother me anymore. But that comes with learning what meditation is. And obviously, if I want a super insightful or meditation, it's probably not going to be in a busy crowded place. But anyways, I digress. Okay, so when I'm first starting meditating, the first thing I do is I sit down and I begin to take the deep breaths and focus on my breathing. And I kind of am just now realizing why deep breath and deep breathing and all of that, and focusing on breath, is such an importance in meditation. It's something I've always known. It's something everybody teaches you if you've ever done a what are those guided meditations. It always starts with breath. It's something like I've just known was a thing, but I never really connected the dots. And so I connected it because today what really clicked for me was that when you're focusing on your breathing, you are gaining control of your mind in that moment. Because breathing is obviously something we do on autopilot. It's not something, hi kitty, it's not something we have to think about. I mean, we breathe in our sleep. We breathe, as long as we're alive, we are breathing. It just is something we do naturally. So when you begin to focus on your breath, you're gaining control of your mind. So your mind isn't able to wander here, there, anywhere. You gain control of your mind, and you're focusing on something that is very natural for you to do. And obviously, when you begin to focus on it, that's all you're thinking of. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And allow your mind to just be there in that present moment. And so that's the first thing, is just focusing on your breath for as long as, focus on your breath for 10 minutes. Focus on your breath for as long as you need to just realize and be in that present moment. That is meditation. The next thing I would say is, because eventually after focusing on your breath, at least for me, what happens is I start to feel like I'm floating off, and my body gets tingly, and I just kind of start floating, and I guess you can say I'm astral projecting and having vivid thoughts and memories and flashes, some from this life, some from others, and it's just a very visceral time. But what happens sometimes when I'm in, oh, sorry, my cat just scared the F out of me. Okay, what happens sometimes when I'm in these deep trance-like of meditations is all of a sudden a thought creeps in, and it's a thought that makes me anxious. And sometimes I allow it to snowball, and that will snap me out of my meditative state. Whenever that happens, my first thing I try and do is start going back to focusing on my breath. So sometimes I get disappointed because I'm astral traveling and having fun and like doing, you know, really enjoying my meditation, and then all of a sudden these thoughts creep in, and so then I start getting angry, and then it's just a snowball effect. That is where you want to avoid. That's what you want to avoid. You don't want to allow your thoughts to get away from you, because then when you get angry, it just continues, like you're just going to keep going down, and it's going to be really hard to get back into that meditative state. So when you catch those anxious thoughts start to creep in and your mind's leaving that, go back into focusing on your breath. Start back at the beginning and focus on your breath. And when you do that, usually the more you can grasp it before it gets too far, the quicker you'll be able to go slip back into that meditative state. The other thing, sometimes I cannot catch my thoughts before they start snowballing. Sometimes they get out of my own control. When that happens, my best advice, what I try and tell people to do, is think about things that you love. And as crazy as this sounds, be vague. The vaguer you are in this kind of scenario, the better you are. Because the things that you love and cherish the most are usually things you hold a strong attachment to. It's your loved ones. It's, you know, I don't know. Right now I can only think of my loved ones. So for me, that's the example I'm going to use. But like, I want to think of my loved ones. That's that feeling of love for me. However, I'm also very attached. You know, I have a lot of fear surrounding anything happening to them. And, you know, I'm very attached, obviously, to my children and my family. And so sometimes trying to think about them in those moments is actually more detrimental. So for me, thinking of things I love, but very simple things. So like the sky, or like a flower, or a color, or maybe a food, or a place that brings you joy. But something that you love and makes you have that feeling, but that you don't have a strong attachment to. Just something that you love and bringing you joy. And then when you start thinking of those things, then eventually you can integrate the bigger things. Because once you get on that momentum of love and that love frequency, and you're thinking of all these beautiful, magical, amazing things, then you start integrating the more powerful things, which is, you know, your loved ones, your family, your career, whatever, whatever it is for you. And once you get back into that love frequency, then you could slip yourself back into the meditative state. I will say beware when you get yourself into that love frequency. Obviously, love frequency is beautiful. It is bliss. That is the highest frequency. But as far as for meditative purposes, that frequency of just thinking of all those things, if you just continue thinking, then your brain will slip away from you again. So when meditating, the main purpose, the whole point, what you're trying to achieve in meditation is taking back control of your mind and not letting your thoughts snowball and get away from you. So the love thing is a tip to kind of steal your mind back, but be aware, because that can also snowball you back into la la land, to regular life, to autopilot, where we breathe and we don't even think about it. So I guess that's the message. Think about your breath all the time. Think about breathing. No, I'm just kidding. But, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but the wolves were just howling. That was dope and kind of scary. All right, I'm going to go inside because that was a little much for me. That was my video. I hope this helped someone. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I'm going inside.